I still remember the first time my son handed me a smartphone. He said, "Dad, it's easy. Just swipe, tap, and you're good to go." Easy? Not for me. The moment I touched the screen, everything moved too fast. I tapped one thing and something else opened. I tried typing a message, but my fingers kept pressing the wrong letters. And the worst part, every time I needed to do something simple, like checking the weather, I had to call my grandson for help. I felt useless. If you've ever struggled with technology, you know exactly what I mean. It's like the world suddenly moved on without you, and you're left behind, trying to catch up. But let me tell you something. It's not your fault. And today, I'm going to show you exactly what I did to finally master my smartphone, and how you can too. Because here's the truth. If a 73-year-old like me can do it, so can you. So stick with me. This will change everything. Why smartphones feel so difficult to learn. First, let's talk about why smartphones can feel so overwhelming, especially for seniors like us. It all comes down to three key reasons. One, our brains weren't wired for this. When we were younger, we learned things step by step. Press this button, turn this dial, and you get the result. But smartphones, they don't work that way. Everything is on a touch screen, and there are no physical buttons to guide us. That's a big adjustment for our brains. Two, the fear of making mistakes. Have you ever worried that if you press the wrong button, you might delete something important? Or worse, completely break your phone? You're not alone. Research shows that many seniors avoid using new technology because they're afraid of making mistakes they can't fix. 3. Nobody teaches it the right way. Younger people learn smartphones naturally because they grew up with them. But for us, we need a different approach, one that's slow, clear, and structured. Unfortunately, most tutorials assume we already understand the basics, and when they explain things too fast, we get lost. But here's the good news. There's a way to learn that actually works. And once I discovered it, everything changed. The simple method that changed everything. One day I was watching my granddaughter learn to play the piano. She didn't start with full songs. She didn't even start with two hands. She started with one note at a time, and that's when it hit me. I needed to learn my smartphone the same way, one step at a time, starting with the basics. So I created a 3-step method that finally made everything click. Step 1. Master the touchscreen so you stop feeling lost. The first thing I did was train my fingers to use the touchscreen properly. I spent 10 minutes a day just doing these 3 things. Swiping left and right to move between screens. Tapping lightly, not too hard, not too soft. Holding down on things to see extra options. At first it felt awkward, but after a few days it became second nature, just like learning to write with a pen when we were kids. Step 2. Learn one app at a time, instead of everything at once. Most people try to learn everything at once, messaging, calling, internet apps, and that's where they fail. Instead, I focused on one app at a time. First, I mastered calling. Then I learned how to send text messages. Then I moved to WhatsApp to talk to my family. Only after that did I try using the internet. This method worked because I wasn't overwhelmed. I built confidence step by step. Step 3. Use voice commands, a game changer for seniors. Typing was a nightmare for me. My fingers felt too big for the tiny keyboard, and autocorrect kept changing my words. Then I discovered voice commands, and it changed my life. Instead of typing, I could just speak my messages. Instead of searching manually, I could just say, "Google, what's the weather today?" It felt like magic. And the best part, voice commands are built into every smartphone. overcoming fear and building confidence. Now I know what you might be thinking, but what if I still make mistakes? Let me tell you something that changed my perspective forever. You can't break your smartphone. Seriously. No matter what button you press, you can't break it unless you throw it against a wall, which I was tempted to do a few times. Once I realized that, I became fearless. I started exploring, pressing buttons, trying new things, and that's when I truly started learning. And here's the most important mindset shift. Every mistake is a lesson. The more mistakes you make, the faster you learn. Reasons why you should learn your smartphone. You might be wondering, why should I even bother learning all this? Well, science has the answer. Studies show that using smartphones has major benefits for seniors. Prevents memory loss. Learning new technology keeps your brain active and reduces the risk of dementia. Keeps you connected. Video calls and messaging help prevent loneliness. Gives you independence. No more relying on others for simple things like checking the news or paying bills. Increases safety. Smartphones let you call for help instantly in an emergency. In other words, learning your smartphone isn't just a skill. It's a way to stay sharp, stay connected, and stay independent. Final words and call to action. So if you've ever felt like you're too old to learn technology, if you've ever felt frustrated, lost, or even embarrassed because you didn't know how to use your phone, I want you to know something. It's never too late to learn. You don't need to be a tech genius. You don't need to learn everything at once. All you need is 10 minutes a day, one step at a time. The courage to make mistakes. And if I, a 73-year-old who once struggled to send a simple text, can do it, you can too. Now tell me in the comments, what's the one thing about smartphones that frustrates you the most? Let's help each other learn together. Like if this helped you, share this with a friend who needs it. Subscribe for more simple tech guides for seniors.